Uh, be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. May the entire world enjoy all the happiness in the world. Very good morning to all of you, dear friends. Thank you very much for sparing your time to listen to my talk. It is indeed my great pleasure to be associated with your association, Sky, Simplified Kundalini Yoga, a wonderful association started by Professor Muthu, one of my best friends whom I have come across. I was totally associated with all the members. I used to conduct mainly in English, and sometimes at the request, I used to speak a few words in Tamil also. Now, without wasting much of the time, I would like to go ahead with my program today. This program is called Know Your Inner World. What you mean by this know your inner world is we know about the external world, but we never know about ourselves fully. We just care for others, but we don't care for us. Now, today's basically it coincides with Vedatri Maharishi's teachings only, or I would say it is an extract of Vedatri Maharishi's speech. I mean, teachings in a different way where I have interpreted know about your inner world. Professor Muthu must have conducted lots of classes on self-introspection. So this is basically an extension of self-introspection, especially relating to your inner world. Now, what is the inner world? Let us start. What is the definition of God? God, G-O-D. Any of you know what is the definition of God? Look here. G stands for generator, O stands for operator, D stands for destroyer. That means we are all governed by a supreme power, and we have given different names and split into different religions. That's all about it. Definition of God is the supreme power who rules us, who brings us, who rules us, and takes us back. Are you able to see the slides?
Yes.
Are you able to see the slides?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry. It's
Okay.
nice. It's coming. Yeah.
Okay. Now, your inner world, let me, friends, we have to understand one thing. If all the species God has created, human being is the most blessed one because of the sixth sense. Animals have five senses, but we are blessed with the sixth sense. But unfortunately, we have been misusing our sixth sense for obvious reasons. Our body is fantastic, which has all the components of the manufacturing industry like we have. Now, I will tell you how our body, the manufacturing industry concept itself was brought from our body. I understand, I read somewhere. Now, how does it go? You see, the manufacturing activity in our body is when we eat the food is processed into blood. That becomes a manufacturing system. That means blood is manufactured from the food. Transport system, blood vessels carry the oxygens to all parts of the body. Through the lungs we breathe, and the blood vessels takes the oxygen to all parts of the body. So there's a transportation. The drainage system, of course, everyone knows, wastage comes as urine and stool. This is such a wonderful body, but what is happening is we are ignoring our body. Now, let me come to this very important definition. Who is your best friend? If you ask me, I would say Mr. Muthu is my best friend, but I am wrong. Why? Not because Muthu is good or bad. It is, I am my best friend. You come alone to this world, you also leave this world alone. So your best friend is yourself. Hence, start loving yourself. Let yourself be your best friend. For this, try to know about yourself. Of course, myself, when you know about yourself, next you can in line will be, second will be Muthu, my best friend. Now, but hardly we know about our inner world, and nor we do bother to appreciate our beloved body. Our body, I would say, it's a beloved body. Why? We care for animals and even for non-living things, but we tend to ignore our body and take it for granted. Now, for example, I'll tell you, if you have a daughter, say about 6 years old or 5 years old, you go to a toy shop and she will ask you for a toy. Okay, Barbie doll. You buy it. Most of the children, most of the girls will love Barbie. I'm taking an example. Now, when you give the doll to you will see the joy in her face. slowly and steadily, she will get attached to it. Now, attachment to such an extent, she will sleep with the baby. She will now copy her mother in cooking by choice. She will feed the baby. She will do everything from morning till evening. For a live example, my own granddaughter, who is 3 years old in America, she has got an elephant. We bought it at 6 months old. Today, 3 years old. Even when I view her in my video, she is not alone. She always carries the elephant. To that extent, the children gets attached. Now, if you see one thing, this doll does not have any life, but we get attached to it. Now, what happens is we give importance to non-living things. We get attached. We are so sentimental. Now, one day, what happens if you, by mistake, break the doll or you stamp on it and the doll breaks? You should see the reaction of the child. She will start screaming. She will start crying. She may even go and fight, and she will not eat her food. That is the type of love and affection she has acquainted all these days with the doll, which is again a non-living thing. Now, when she, even if you tell at a point that I will get you another doll, she will say, no, I want my same Lucy. She has named the doll as Lucy. I want the Lucy back. To such an extent, you give importance to a non-living thing. Think of the organs we have. Organs are living dolls. But do we ever think about ourselves? No. Unfortunately, no. Very rarely. That is why this meditation center, all these things helps. When the self-introspection begins, you start when you breathe, they will say, please imagine this, imagine that. At that time only you look into your lungs, you look into your heart, otherwise you never bother. Thereby, caring for ourselves will increase our longevity. Hence, being selfish on one's health is not considered bad at all. I'll tell you why. Now, even today, when I get up at 5:30, I switch off the mobile, I disconnect the phone, 5:30 to 6:45, I don't take any calls because that time is reserved for me and I do my meditation. With this, after that, I only switch on the phone because I don't want any disturbance, because that is the only time I devote to my body. I devote to my body. That's why one great personality said, when you go for walking, you should try to walk alone, so that is the time you can think about yourself. If you walk with your friends, yeah, time passes, but you don't concentrate on yourself. Hence, what happens is, as far as health is concerned, there is nothing wrong to be selfish. Now, I will tell you two words, selfish and jealousy. Both are very bad words in our dictionary. You will agree. But I would say at one point, selfish and jealousy are excellent. How? Selfish and jealousy are bad. However, both these become acceptable only in one occasion. Being selfish on one's health factor is perfectly okay. Why? Family is happy. Suppose, for example, suppose you get fever or cold, your mind gets disturbed. Your health is not good, means your mind gets disturbed. You have a confrontation with your boss, you have a confrontation with your wife, you have a confrontation with everybody. Whoever comes, you try to shout at them. Because you're not able, your body is not responding to your requirements. Because you have ignored the body all this time. Now, I would not like to go on experimenting. Some stories are also there, but due to want of time, I'm skipping those things. Children are allowed to be jealous. Why? Jealous is also a bad word, but in the case of children, it is allowed in studies. Because there should be jealousy in studies, but it should not end up in physical fight. What I'm telling is jealousy in a healthy way. Human life. Now, friends, very important. Do you all know the average human life is 120 years.
Sir,
It has
can we
been
switch off your sir, excuse me.
astrologically. Yeah.
Sir,
What is it? Yeah.
can you switch off your video? We are having quality with the audio. Maybe switch off the video
Okay.
now.
Then now it's okay. Now it's
Yeah,
okay.
it's better.
Thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience. Right. Okay. Now, what happens is now God is blessed with 120 years, but what we do, we enjoy till the age of 30, eating every damn thing, whatever in the world. We don't care for ourselves. We enjoy our life. Now, then up to 40, one tablet. Then up to 50, 2 tablets. Then from 50 onwards, live on tablets. And premature death, say between 60 and 70. What I was telling is, if you take the astrological houses, Saturn has got so many years, Sunny, they say 14 years, like that each. If you calculate those and add it, it comes to 120. Believe me. So human life is 120, but what we do is, by ignoring our health, we die before we are actually destined to die, thereby sacrificing 40 to 50 years. It's very unfortunate. Now, human life. God has created only 3 factors for human life. What is it? Birth, growth, and death. But man has created disease. While science has contributed a lot, no doubt about it, we are very thankful to science, but it has also done harm to mankind to great effect, especially when we talk about the subject of health. Human life, even animals come, live, and die. Natural. They live their full age, other than they also, when they become a prey, that is the usual. But even their lives have not been spared by the human beings. How? By deforestation. You won't believe, in Bangalore recently, in one of our greater community, they spotted 2 leopards roaming around. Believe me, this happened a month back. So why the animals come to the land? The reason is, man is responsible. Not only we won't spoil our health, we are also spoiling the health of the nature. Now, how our body works. Now, this concept is called 2140 concept. Believe me, friends, this is very important. How our body works. Our body grows till the age of 21 years. That means what happens is, you get new tissues, everything is new, fresh. Absolutely, you're hale and healthy. Next to 15 years, what happens? We have all the energy to withstand any disease, and hence they do not surface. Please listen to me. So 21 to 40 is an age where you still don't feel any inconvenience, because of the energy you acquired is 21 years. After 21, the body stops growing. Even bad habits does not affect till the age of 35 years generally, but some overdosage that can cause even at the age of 30, as is happening now. Because of the resistant power you have built in for 21 years, they sustain up to 35. But after that, any disease contacted earlier surfaces and all your problems start. Now what happens is, now I'll give you 2 examples. Suppose A and B. A is a very healthy person. He is attending Professor Muthu's class, Sky, and is taking care of health, eating very limited way, and whatever it is, he is healthy. B, bindas. He doesn't do anything. He just eats whatever he wants and then enjoys life. Now, believe me, when they are aged at 15, if you make them run, don't be surprised if B overtakes A. But that is not the solution, because when B starts eating all the things and does not follow the rules, the problems have started in him. But because of the growth in the cells and other things, that is suppressed. That energy suppresses all the bad things. Now, what happens at the age of 21, when you stop growing, B will start weakening himself and A will be strong, provided he continues yoga and attending classes and other things. This is the basic importance, 2140. Now, what happens is, even bad habits does not affect till 35 years, because the resistant power you have built in 21 years. But after that, any disease earlier he has acquired, but that comes to surface because there is no growth. And the power he acquired till 21 lasts only for 10 to 15 years. After crossing 40 years, the body starts fading for everyone. And it is at that time, my wife being a doctor, when she was practicing in Qatar, she was surprised to see even 30 years old person coming to the clinic are suffering from diabetics and blood pressure. These 2 main things, main killers. But if you take care of your body right from the young age, you will surely lead a very healthy life. Believe me, this is all about the inner world, organs. Now we come to the organs. If you take care of yourself, the body takes care of yourself. We are going to see some interesting thing. Only good health can bring happiness. You agree with me? See, however money we have, however luxury we enjoy, however people around us, if you're not healthy, everything looks bad in front of your eyes. You should aim for wealth of happiness, which comes only through good health. Wealth of happiness is nothing but contentment. What is contentment? The world is made of 2 tents, content and discontent. When you have discontent, the factor anger comes. When you have content, you are happy. So happiness comes from content. Contentment. Start enjoying yourself. Be happy with what you are. Don't look up, always look down. Now, what happens is, now I will tell you one doha quoted by Kabir Das, Saint Kabir Das. That he says beautifully. What he says, I'm talking about thousands of years ago when Kabir Das was a great poet in Hindi. I don't know, many of you may know, just like Tiruvalluvar in Tamil. So we have these phrases. Kabir Das is a great saint. Now he has written a lot of dohas. One of the doha on this he writes, Godhan Gajadan, Bhajidan or Ratanadan Khan. Jab avat santosh dan sab dan duri saman. What does he say? Godhan means wealth of cow. Gajadan means wealth of elephant. Bhajidan means wealth of horse. Ratanadan means wealth of diamond. If all these wealth you have and you're sick, you don't enjoy it. But when you're content, when the wealth of happiness in front of wealth of happiness, these things are like dust. Jab avat santosh dan sabadana duri saman. When you acquire contentment, all these wealth are nothing for you. That's a great point in those days is mentioned, which is very true. Most of us want our desire. You, for example, your child will not be happy with your Hyundai car. He would say, I want a Mercedes Benz. The Mercedes Benz, he will go for Bentley car. So there's no limit. One small example, a fellow walking on the road. He looks a cycle passing by. He says, I wish I had this cycle. Next, the cycle fellow, you think he's happy? He goes. He sees a moped. And the moped, oh, see, I have to pedal, my legs are aching. This fellow is nicely enjoying. So he is not happy. Now at least a moped fellow is happy. No, I have this moped. It doesn't have a pulling power. See that bike, foreign bike. Why? I wish I wasn't that. Do you think the bike fellow was happy? He will see a beautiful car going. Oh, I have to go slog in the sun. See the car. Now the car fellow, you think he's happy? He says, I wish I had chartered an aircraft and kept an aircraft for myself. There is no limit. So contentment comes within you. By attending programs conducted by Sky, you are acquiring great knowledge in the form of health. A contentment, if you attend these programs, automatically contentment will come to you by itself. You don't have to do anything because you realize what is the reality. What is the reality? Now, for possessing good health, what are the factors? Have the right attitude and be positive. Try to eliminate anger. Never have negative feelings. Think everyone is good, which is the right approach. Now, here also there is one phrase quoted by Kabir Das. Think everyone is good, which is the right approach. How does it say? He says, बुरा जो देखन मैं चला, बुरा न मिलिया कोई. जब देखन फिर भी मैं चला, मुझसा बुरा न कोई. He says, I went in search of bad men, but I found none. Again, I went in search of bad people, only to realize that no one is as bad as me. How? Because the thought of searching a bad man itself has made you bad in the first instance. Beautiful, beautiful teaching. So, at the end, this possessing good health, one of the factors important is attend Sky classes, practice yoga, pranayama, and exercises. Vidatri Maharishi's exercises, if one follows, I'm sure nobody will fall sick in this earth. So, I'm so happy to be associated with the association now. Do you know one thing? There is the South Koreans have one philosophy called Zen philosophy. Many of you might not know, or some of you may know. Koreans believe matter, when it gets a shape, it acquires some sort of life. Anything for that matter, if you take care and respect the item, it lasts longer. For example, if you buy a new TV, it works fine. Suppose you go for 3 months and you forget to put the cover. When you come, see the state of the TV. TV will be there very much, but the dust would have accumulated over a period of 3 months. And my dear friends, sometimes if it is locked for more than electronic item, if it is more than for 1 year or so, if you start it will not work. It may even fail. So in India too, why is in a philosophy? We respect all the items that does not have life by performing Ayuda Puja. Hence, our body which has life deserves much more respect than what we are giving. Do you agree? Now, we too will live longer if we take more care of our body. Very simple. The body expects nothing from you. It does its work. Now I'll come to that a little later. Now I'm coming to the next important things. When I test organs, this is the most important part of our program Inner World. We should respect our organs. Each organ has got emotions. You must love each organ as you love a doll. The emotions discharged by the combination of organs is reflected on your face. The same face shows, suppose I will again quote my dearest friend Muthu. Professor Muthu, if I see in his face some sort of disturbance, I can easily make out that he is disturbed that morning. I will immediately ask, what happened, sir? He may not like to share with me, but he will accept in his mind, oh, this man is identified. I did not do any magic. By looking at his face, I knew that he's in a disturbed mind. The same face shows happiness. When I see most of the time in the case of Professor Muthu, he's always happy because of his service to society and the way he behaves with people, the way he moves with people. And he's practice what you preach. That is important. Many of us, what we preach, but we don't practice. Professor Muthu is one example who practices before he preaches. The same face shows happiness, shows anger, shows worries, etc. We should take care of organs for our own good health. Now, coming to that, think about yourself. Friends, how many times in a day you think about yourself? Your organs, or for that matter, your body. You take the organs for granted and treat the body as a dustbin. I'm sorry to say that. It's a fact. Now, whatever we get to eat, we dump it in our stomach without even knowing that it is not good for health, because man's temptation. These are all done, one basic human, where Vedatri Maharishi has taught a lot on this subject. We should control the mind. We should not allow the mind to control. All these things are happening now because the mind controls us. When the mind controls us, we become a monkey because it is not steady. It jumps from one place to another. But when we control the mind, we become human beings. You take the organs for granted and treat the body as a dustbin. On the contrary, your body, organs keep serving you non-stop for 24 hours. Now you tell me, this 24 hours organs work. What happens? It keeps on working without any expectation from you. But what we do, we don't even spend a few minutes thinking about and thanking them. Now, I will tell you, my friend, when I do meditation, my meditation, at the end of the meditation, thank each organ. It may look a little funny for some people, but the truth is, I thank my organs from head to toe where I can name. And at the end, I say, unnamed organs, which I do not know, you're also serving me. Continue to serve me to make me happy and do good to others. If you try this before you go to sleep or after you get up, you will find a little change in you, I bet. Even while you're sleeping, only your mind and eyes are off, but your system is continuously working. Am I right? Even while you're sleeping, your mind and eyes are off, but your system is continuously working. The system stops working only when you face the death. That means when the system stops, you die. Hence, never try to do with your systems by overeating or by being lazy, etc. It is not your duty to take care of. Is it not your duty to take care of your organs? After telling so many things, please, my friends, think about it. Introspect yourself. Is it not your duty to take care of your organs at least for a few minutes in a day? Now, think about yourself. This is very important, and I will give you an example of this also to make it more interesting. Our body works on the principle of management by exception. What is this management by exception? Many of you will be knowing is a management term called management by exception. That means to get the things done than doing the things in every case. For example, in a factory, a foreman is working, an assistant engineer is working, then a supervisor working, an assistant engineer working, and our engineer, and then ultimately the board. Now, what happens? A lathe operator, example. A lathe operator, he knows only to operate the lathe. So when some technical fault is there, lathe stops working, he immediately approaches his supervisor. Supervisor tries to see that. Now, if he is not able to do that, he goes to the foreman. Foreman is not able to solve the problem, he goes to the assistant engineer. Like that it goes. Ultimately, when they decide at the top level nothing can be done, in a board, they say it's time to replace, they go for their capital expenditure. That's all about it. Now, here, what I'm trying to tell you is, management by exception, if the foreman does the job of the operator, and if the engineer does the job of operator, that is not correct. Because Operator has to do his job. So the foreman has to supervise him. And the engineer has to supervise the foreman. So obviously, management exception. That means 4 supervisors will be working under a foreman, and foreman has to understand, he has to control these to ensure they work. Now, if foreman starts doing the work, then it doesn't make any sense. So similarly, our body system also works by itself without you putting into any effort. The body works, doesn't ask anything. Now we'll go for a live example. What is a live example? Assume, gentlemen, one of you are going to a beach. Now, I would request you to imagine that you remove the slippers. You are attending a conference and the beach is adjacent to your conference hall. What will you do in the morning? You'll get up, see the seashore and find interesting, oh, let me go for a walk. You go there. Now, at that time, in the beach, nobody is there or hardly very few people. So when you start, you're assuming this, that you're going alone. Okay, this is for an official purpose. Now, you remove your slippers and walk barefoot. When you just enjoy the nature, one side flowers, one side sea, one side conference hall, everything, that scenic beauty is fantastic, you're enjoying. At that time, what do? You will be thinking about, if you're married, you'll think about your wife. If you have children, you'll think, I wish my children had come here. Or you will think, my old parents, had I brought them, they would have enjoyed. You will start thinking about others. But do you ever think at that moment about yourself? Very carefully, I'm telling. I hope you understand what I'm telling. Now, what happens? You take a few steps. Suddenly, a small thorn pricks the bottom of your feet. Instantly, you forget everything. Even Aishwarya Rai comes or Amitabh Bachchan comes. You forget everything. For a moment, what happens? You attend to yourself. What is that? It's very interesting when I tell you this. It may look funny for some people, but believe me, the body becomes an army. The army joined together to remove the foreigner. What happens? The head bends down, the eyes goes towards the leg, my hands go towards the leg, my body bends, my hands go to this thing. I then remove the thorn. How does it happen? The brain sends the message in the form of pain when something pricks in your leg. So everybody is acting. The brain is a guardian. It immediately wants the system. There is some problem. Go ahead. And then all of them join. He's a commander in force. He orders everybody. Everybody comes down. At that moment, they all join together. This will Khalli, you will say in Arabic. Khalli Amitabh Bachchan. Khalli Aishwarya Rai. This is me. And you go and just pick this thing and then throw the prick out. After next moment, after throwing the thorn, what do? Immediately put the leg and again you come to Amitabh world and Aishwarya world. You tend to ignore yourself once. The body, when it requires, it sends. Otherwise, you don't bother about the body. The body works without any expectations. That is the fantastic thing about a body. And what we give is nothing. Now, coming to how do we take care of our organs? I'm a great follower of breathing techniques. And if time permits, in some other occasion, I'll share with you how some added breathing exercise to what Varadharajan Maharshi has taught us. Which everything is covered. Now, our body, importance of air in our life. It is said that human beings can live without food for 2 months. It's difficult, but maximum. They can live without water for 2 weeks. Difficult, but they can. By eating leaves and other things, they can eat, you see. But can they live without air even for 2 minutes? If a person tries to block his nose for 2 minutes, third minute is out. He'll have to be cremated. To that extent, air is important. Now, importance of air in our life. Characters we learn from 5 basic elements. What are the 5 basic elements? Sky, water, fire, and air. Human being, what they learn from this. We learn patience from the earth, saves us. Broad-minded is sky, there's no limits. We look up, there's no limits. Broad-minded. Your heart is compared to the sky. The flood came immediately because of the power of water. Nothing can be done. Fire is very forceful. And air is the best character is, it is impartial. Whether you are President of the United States or President of India, or you're a member or a scavenger in the road, everybody, the air treats same. One of the best things happens happening in Vedatri Maharish, this thing, everybody is treated alike. That is why I like this association a lot. Now, air and breathing, our body consists of more than 70% of water, and oxygen is an element of water. Therefore, a body cannot survive without air. What a petrol is to a vehicle, air is to a body. Now, when the petrol gets over, the vehicle stops. When the air gets over, we die. So air is very, very important. Air and breathing, all diseases start due to improper sufficient breathing. Now, this is very important. I will touch some parts of breathing, but this is what I want to tell you because it is connected to the inner world. You should be aware of what you are doing. All diseases start due to improper and insufficient breathing. Air is plenty, unlimited, but friends, we have to be a little careful. Now, air is also sold in cylinders as oxygen. Why should we not take more air for breathing in order to keep us fit and fine? Body is made up of cells. Each cell requires oxygen. The oxygen is supplied through your breathing only. The lungs. Now, when we breathe, the air goes through our nostrils and reaches the lungs, from where the blood carries the oxygen through the blood vessels to all parts of the body. Air is abundantly available, and if you inhale excess air, we can prevent all diseases, including heart attacks, etc. Our normal breathing habit does not ensure sufficient supply of oxygen to all parts of the body. Now, this I am not telling. In Doordarshan, they mentioned this some years ago when I was watching a program in the morning. He said, our breathing system is so bad, one breath, assume that you require 5 cubic meters of air, one cubic measure of air. What we breathe is only 1/6, 4/6, no, 3/6, no, 2/6, sorry, 2/6, and what we get 2/5, and 3/5 goes waste. Sorry, in 5 cubic, 2 only reaches our body. 5 parts of the cells don't receive oxygen. This is the damaging thing which is happening right from the day one of after, right from the 15th or 16th day of our birth. How? The first 15 days, the child breathes heavily. You will notice that the child, it goes like a balloon and comes. That is called belly breathing. In fact, my friends, belly breathing is the best breathing. It has been found, but we hardly do it. If I do belly breathing, Professor Muthu will say, what are you doing? Anything wrong with you? Because we are ashamed of ourselves. Nothing wrong. You can still do it, but we don't do it because we are at the comfort zone. We are at the comfort zone. Our normal breathing habit does not ensure supply of oxygen to all parts of the body. Hence, deep breathing exercises are recommended to ensure supply of oxygen to all parts of the body. Again, Sky gives you all this solution through their yoga practices. Absolutely. Now, remedies. As I told you, the belly breathing followed by a newly born child is the correct way of breathing, but we don't do it. Fine. But as we grow, we tend to neglect that. And we are happy when we do so, not to sense our breathing. Taking a walk near Cornish is another way of taking more oxygen, since the layer above the sea produces ozone, which is the concentrated liquid oxygen, which is very good for health. Now again, now we come to whole brain concept. Just like we have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 hands, we also have 2 brains. Left brain for normal routine works, right brain for creative thinking like artists, superstars, writers, etc. Neurosurgeons have found that on an average, believe me, on an average, only 10 to 20% of brain of all human skull is put to use, and basically 80% goes waste. That means we are not used to brain. How we are not used brain? Our normal activity is controlled by the left brain, whereas the creative activity is controlled by the right brain. We are hardly putting our right brain into practice. Now, what is the left brain activity? You get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you drop your children to school, come back, have breakfast, go to office, and if time permits, you drop your wife also, and then go do your normal work with high tension, that thing, this thing, and come back in the night again. You don't have any time because you're so tired. Just lie down and then sleep off. Next day again start. These are all normal. We don't have time for thinking. We don't have time for anything for us because we are ignoring our internal world. You have to spend time for yourself. I'm coming back to square one now. Okay. Thank you, Kumulation sir. See, the problem is we have 2 ears, 2 eyes, and as I rightly said, the 2 brains. Left brain for normal activity, routine work, which we do day in and day out. But the right brain for creative thinking, where you require time to think for yourself. That is where you should know your internal world. Now, if you are aware of this right concept, automatically you will start praying, you will start doing. Because I am not a dancer, but I can still activate the right brain through my prayer or attending yoga class, every day. Then, when you do the meditation for 20 minutes, that is a wonderful way.
There is some disturbance, sir.
Let me tell you that. Let me tell you that. People are doing a very good job attending Friday meetings, and nice talk somewhere else. Step will go. So concentration. When they concentrate, the right brain. So really, this is a great opportunity for you to just come. Right brain activity. Continue to do that. Since just like what I want to tell you again is now the nothing wrong with my one. Perfect. Okay. Now, I'm not going to do
Now
all
it's better,
exercises
sir.
because
Now
we
it's
don't have
better. Maybe
much
you
time.
can
Should I repeat
your
it
mic,
very
but
left? I don't mind. Tell you one thing.
Okay.
Artist, I was telling, artist, writer, dancer, specialist in games, sincere prayer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Activating your right brain. The whole brain concept is how to increase and activate your brain, especially your right brain. This
Now,
can
okay.
be done through simple power breathing called alternate nostril breathing or below.
Yeah, we'll
He
wait. And
dropped
meanwhile,
off,
if
sir.
anybody wants, anybody has any
some
questions so
help
far,
coming.
maybe
We'll
you
come
can
back.
just throw it.
I think when his
we'll
phone
see
rings or
whether
something, he is
we can
dropping in
answer it.
internet.
I think so.
No, my phone is not ringing. I kept the phone on mute.
Okay.
Anybody
Actually,
questions?
he
Now
was
are you able
talking
to hear me?
about
Yes,
belly
sir, go ahead.
breathing. Yes.
I will
That
just open
was
again Google
nothing
Drive and
but
slide.
the
Now
stage
slides are
1
over.
and
I can
stage
talk.
2
There's
of
no
our
problem.
neuromuscular breathing exercise.
Now, up to what stage you have heard, Muthu?
Maharishi
Please, can you tell
has
me?
designed in such
Right
a way
brain, sir.
that
You are talking about the right brain. Cricket.
the bottom portion of the lungs
Thank you, Kumar sir.
is fully
See, the problem
expanded
is
and contracted,
we have
and
2
that
ears,
can
2
be
eyes, and as
achieved
I rightly said, the 2
through
brains.
belly breathing as
Left
well.
brain
And
for
belly
normal
breathing is
activity,
little bit
routine
of,
work, which we
forcefully
do
you have
day in and
to
day out.
make sure
But
your
the right
stomach
brain
is
for creative thinking, where you
contracted
require
and
time to think for
expanded
yourself.
when
That is where
you do
you
that
should know your
exercise,
internal world. Now,
which is
if you are aware of
which is
this
not
right brain
required,
concept,
and it is a
automatically
very
you will start praying, you
what
will start
Maharishi
doing
has
because
given us
I am
is a
not a
very
dancer, but I can still
safest and
activate my right brain through my prayer or attending yoga classes, attending Vedatri Maharishi class every
decent
day.
way of
Then,
activating
when you do the
the bottom
meditation for
portion
20
of
minutes,
the
that
lungs.
is a wonderful way of activating your right brain. Let me tell you that.
And other
Let me
people
tell you
named
that.
it
You
as
people are doing
belly
a very
breathing
good
as
job
well.
attending Friday meetings, and nice talk given by Professor Muthu,
Any questions so far? Anything?
others. So really, this is a great opportunity for you. It has come. Do not leave it. Continue to do that. Just like what I wanted to tell you again is now the just 1 minute.
To connect, sir.
Okay. Now I'm not going to do
Sure
all the
whether
exercises
he's
because
not
we
able
don't
to
have
get it or
much time. But let me tell you one thing.
Yes, you
Artist,
can
I
ask
was
question,
telling,
please.
artist,
Sulochana.
writer, dancer, specialist in
Sir,
games, sincere
I think
prayer,
he
meditation,
said about
activating your right
activating the
brain. The
right
whole brain
brain
concept is
through
how to increase and activate your
alternate
brain,
nostril
especially your right brain.
breathing.
This can
I
be
hope
done
so.
through simple power
Can you
breathing called
explain in
alternate
this
nostril breathing or
alternate nostril
below.
breathing, how it works in
Below
activating the right brain,
is the
how it works
one
to activate the
thing
right brain
which
in scientific way?
gives you
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
enough
Sir, there is
We know
disturbance, sir.
that
Can you
from
stop
Muladhara
sharing and speak,
Chakra,
sir?
there are 3 nadis, 3 channels through which all energy is energy is transferred throughout the body through these 3 nadis. Okay, the central one and the left and right. Now, always the nadis or the circulation of our prana shakti
what happens
is closely in sync with our breathing.
in our body.
Whatever we couldn't hear you without
Sir, we can't hear you, sir. There's some issue.
means you want to control your Akash particles movement, you control your breathing. Maybe you can stop sharing the screen and then you can. So such is that one-to-one relationship between our breathing and our in between energy circulation in our body. Okay. You carry on. So when you do left nostril breathing, that is connected to the right brain, and the right one is connected to the left brain. And when you do alternative nostril breathing, left and then exhale through the right and again inhale through the right and exhale through the right, left. That is what we do in Nadi Shuddhi pranayama. Before every meditation, we do that. And now that will activate the network issues alternatively on the left and right part of the brains. And this is not just a philosophy or a story by our ancestors, and medically it's very difficult proven how alternative nostril breathing activates both part of brain. And there are MRIs taken with the left nostril breathing and then the right, and how it is connected there and how it is activated there. All those medical evidences clearly says yes, it is activating both left and right breathing. And we do this alternative nostril breathing with the mind focused on your breath, then it really helps for the mind also to calm down and to reduce their mind frequency. That is why it is kept just before the meditation. So it does a lot of jobs to. Yes, sir.
Sir, I think he joined in a different level. Try, is it real me?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm back. Real me. Please.
Yeah, I'm allowed, sir. You can talk.
Yeah,
You
can continue, sir.
Sorry, Muthu, for what has happened because it was beyond my control.
No. Yeah, sure, absolutely.
But I could hear you from my wife's this thing. As he rightly said, somebody asked, what is it? How do you ensure that it reaches right brain, left brain, this thing? Yes. Alternate nostril breathing in English we call, in Sanskrit is called Anulo Bilob. And even every practitioner who practices this Anulo Bilob, is even the singers, they do it because this gives a whole supply of oxygen to the body, right from head to toe. Now what happens is, when you inhale through the left nostrils, the right brain cells are activated, and the reverse, when you inhale from the right, the left brain cells are activated.
Yeah, we'll wait, and meanwhile, if anybody wants, anybody has any questions so far, maybe you can just throw it
reaches,
and
because I
we'll
told
see
you
whether
about a major percentage of breathing doesn't happen. 1 cubic measure, only 2/5 goes and 3/5 goes waste. This is the
he was talking about belly
we should be aware
breathing.
of this. Our cells, every cell requires
that
oxygen.
Was
now,
nothing but
if we don't supply
stage
oxygen,
1 and stage
for
2
some people
of
they may
our
have shoulder pain. That
neuromuscular
means
breathing
their
exercise.
breathing system, the shoulder cells are not receiving oxygen. Somebody may have knee pain.
Designed in
For
such
them,
a
the
way
type of,
that
because breathing is not same for
the
everybody.
bottom portion of the
What
lungs
Kuberation sir breathes is different
fully
from what
expanded
Muthu
and
sir speaks
contracted,
or what I
and
speak.
that can be
So for that
achieved
matter, it
through
depends upon the
belly
body
breathing
structure,
as well.
and we
And belly
all
breathing
settle
is
down
little bit of,
at comfort level what our
forcefully
body
you have
accepts.
to
That is
make
the
sure
biggest
your
mistake
stomach
we do
is
without knowing. I'm not blaming
contracted and
anybody, including
expanded
me. I
when
learned this
you
only
do
ages
that
of 40.
exercise,
Now,
which is
friends,
not
this is very
required, and it
important.
is a very
If you
what
can't do
Maharishi has
anything,
given us is a
do
very
at least
safest and
alternate nostril breathing at least for 20 minutes a day. You will find
decent way
wonderful
of
results within you.
activating the
You will
bottom portion
feel
of
charged
the
up.
lungs.
You feel nice. A feel good factor. Feel good factor means your
And other
supply
people
of
named it
oxygen
as
has
belly
entered your
breathing
right brain
actually.
and to all parts of the body. Therefore, you feel elevated. Are you with me, sir?
Any questions so
Next,
far? Anything?
activating your brain is very important. Whole body of your concept. Now, alternate nostril breathing is activating both right and left brain cells, helps in controlling of mind, helps in building high energy, and helps in longevity of life. After doing breathing, you
Not
feel
sure whether
really
he's
nice.
not able
That
to get
means
it or.
you have a feel good factor in you. Now,
Yes, you
Anulo,
can ask the question.
now some exercises which I cannot do it now, that will be a separate session.
Sir,
But I can tell
I
you,
think he
breathing,
said about
basically
activating
I
the
have
right
divided. There are
brain
so many types of
through
breathings. Every breathing,
alternate
friends, are
nostril
very good. I
breathing.
will
I
not
hope
dispute any
so.
breathing. For
Can you
example,
explain
even
in
if you are in
this
the bus, you take a deep breath.
alternate nostril
It is good. Because
breathing,
any type
how
of deep breath,
it
because you are
works
pumping
in
in more oxygen than what
activating
you are
the
breathing.
right brain,
So
how it
don't
works
go by
to
this and this.
activate the
Even if you
right
can't do
brain
anything sitting in the bus also. Once I was traveling
energetically.
in Brindavan
Yeah,
at
okay,
that
fine,
time,
fine.
few years back.
We know
Then
that from
what
Muladhara
happened is
Chakra,
I
there
was
are
doing,
three
I was inhaling,
nadis,
exhaling.
three
What happened
channels
was, now friends,
through
notice
which
this.
all
Then one
energy
of them
is
came to me. He said,
not communicate.
anything problems sir
Energy
with
is
you? I
transferred
said,
throughout the
no,
body
I'm
through
practicing
these
my
three
breathing.
nadis. Okay, the central
Then,
one and the left and right.
hello, are you
Now,
able to hear me?
always the nadis
Hello?
or the
Hello?
circulation
Go
of
ahead,
our
sir.
prana
Yes,
shakti
yes.
Okay, okay.
is
So
closely
one friend
in
approached me and
sync
said, "What is happening?"
with
I said, "I'm
our
breathing."
breathing.
So he said,
Whatever
"How?
we
I thought
breathe
there's
in,
something
breathe
wrong with
out,
you." No, no.
it is
Then
closely
I
associated.
told
Means
two people, him
you want
explained
to
to him.
control
Then he
your
brought his
Akash
compartment people.
particles
Yes, sir is
movement,
telling,
you
"Would
control
you
your breathing,
express this?" So
automatically
I
that
took
will
a class on
control
breathing
that.
in the train. That I will not
So
forget.
such is
This
that
happened about 5-6 years back.
one-to-one relationship between
People,
our
because many
breathing
people are not
and
aware.
our
Some people who know about this, they
energy
also don't know what is
circulation in
alternate nostril
our
breathing.
body.
It is not their fault
So
because
when
they
you
have not come
do
across it,
left
they have not
nostril
attended classes.
breathing,
So
that is
therefore,
connected to the
Anulop
right
Vilop
brain,
is a very normal
and the right
breathing
one is
where you
connected
can
to the left
inhale
brain.
through
And
left
when you do
and
alternative
exhale through
nostril
right and inhale through
breathing,
right and exhale through
left
left.
and then
So
exhale
how
through
do
the
you do
right
that?
and again
You
inhale
have
through the right and
inhaling should be
exhale through the
slow
right left.
and
That is what
exhaling
we
should
do
be
in
slower
Nadi
than the
Shuddhi
inhaling.
pranayama. Before
Why?
every
Because
meditation we
where
do
you
that.
exhale, the
And now
toxins come
that
out.
will activate
You have to ensure
the
all the toxins come out.
alternatively
So you have
the
to breathe
left
out
and right
slowly.
part of the
Again, when you
brains.
do on
And
what is one cycle?
this is not
Breathing
just
through right,
a philosophy
breathing
or
through left and
a
releasing through
story
right.
by our
Again, from
ancestors,
breathing
and
through
medically
right nostril and
proven
leaving through left nostril is one
how
cycle. If you
alternative
start with
nostril
10 to 15
breathing
cycles a day,
activates
and over a
both
period if you do,
part of
then you can increase it to
brain.
50, 60
And there
cycles.
are
Now,
MRIs
I do
taken
at least 100
with the
cycles a day
left
in the morning.
nostril
I believe in that.
breathing
And
and
it
then the
gives me
right,
great comfort.
and how
I
it is
feel very
connected there and
lazy
how
to get
it
up.
is
But once you
activated
get up
there.
and do this,
All those
afterwards you get charged
medical
up. Your battery
evidences
gets
clearly
recharged
says
completely. Your
yes,
body becomes
it is
very
activating
active.
both
You
left
can do that.
and right
But what
breathing.
I have done,
And
so
we
many
do
breathings,
this
but for a
alternative
good
nostril
health, I
breathing
have
with the
divided in
mind
the
focused on your
body into two
breath. Then
parts:
it really
upper
helps
body and lower
for
body.
the
Now,
mind also to
for
calm
a
down
general
and to
shortage of
reduce their
oxygen,
mind frequency. That
we
is why it
use
is kept
Anulop
just
Vilop
before
also
the
for activating the right
meditation.
brain. Now, the
Sir,
So it does
lower
lot of
portion where people
jobs to. Yes,
suffer
sir.
from diabetic, knee
sir, I
problem,
think
other
he
things,
joined in a
for them,
different. I will try. Is it
you have to
real
put
me?
more stress on the lower part.
Hello?
That is called
Yes, sir.
Kapalabhati.
Yes.
Muthu, I'm back.
I'm not going
Real
to tell
me.
you how to do it.
Please
Yeah,
give
I
me.
allowed you,
It
sir.
can
You can
be
talk.
taught at a later stage.
Yeah, you can
Whenever I get
continue,
an
sir.
opportunity.
Sorry, Muthu, for what has happened because it was
Is
beyond my
a
control.
little difficult, but
Yeah,
to
yeah,
start
sure,
with that,
absolutely.
it is
I'm
very
But
very
I
good.
good.
This
could
type
hear
of
you
breathing.
from
I do
my
not want to
wife's
extend more
saying,
on breathing.
as he rightly
Breathing is very
said,
good.
somebody asked,
And you
what
are
is
all
it?
doing
How do you
breathing in
ensure
one
that
way or
it
the
reaches
other
right
when you
brain, left
attend the
brain,
yoga
this thing?
class of
Alternate
Maharishi.
nostril breathing in
So
English we call, in
obviously what you
Sanskrit
are
is
doing,
called
please continue
Anulop
to
Vilop.
do. This is
And
an added tonic.
every
What I am telling is
practitioner who
only an
practices
added
this
tonic.
Anulop
The
Vilop
one,
is that
the
even the
teachings of
singers, they
Vedatri
do it
Maharishi is
because
fantastic.
this gives a
Fantastic, really, because
whole
I have
supply of
undergone through all
oxygen
the
to the
classes
body,
there.
right
And I
from
am
head to
really
toe.
immense
Now,
that
what
I
happens
do the
is,
Kaya Kalpa
when
Yoga
you
even
inhale through the
now.
left nostrils, the right brain
How
cells are
to take care of
activated.
your other
And the
organs?
reverse, when you
There are specific
inhale
yogas meant
from
for
the
each
right,
organ.
the left brain
Now,
cells are
what does it?
activated.
We
So,
cannot do all,
what
but
happens is,
nevertheless, if we try to
the
follow
supply of
4-5
oxygen
important organs,
is
which
very
ensure it
comfortable.
reaches. Because I
Suppose
told you, people who have got some
about
abdomen problem and other things, they can concentrate
major
more on Kaya
percentage of
Kalpa.
breathing
And
doesn't
people who have
happen
got
on
a
cubic
breathing
measure, only
problem, Bhastrika is the best
250 goes
solution.
and 350 goes
You
waste.
know the
This is
wonderful information, not me. So
we
you
should be
must know
aware
it.
of this.
Our cells, every
Bhastrika
cell
is the
requires
only
oxygen.
exercise.
Now, if we
Where
don't supply
people who are
oxygen,
overweight,
for some people
they
they may
will
have shoulder pain.
reduce
That
their
means
weight.
the
And people
breathing
who are
system,
underweight, they'll put on
the shoulder cells are
some
not
weight
receiving oxygen.
to match
Somebody may
their
have knee
BMI.
pain. For
Please
them, the
understand
type
that.
of, because
So try to spend
breathing
at
is
least
not
30 to 45
same
minutes
for everybody.
to take care of your body,
What
and
Kuberti
then
Singh
we see the
sir
results.
breathes is
Now,
different
from
from
what
what
Muthu
yogas
sir speaks,
who may be
what
doing
I
or may not
speak.
be doing, just for
So for that
information.
matter, there
It
is
depends upon the
Tadasana.
body
Tadasana is
structure,
a tree
and we
posture.
all
It is
settle
very
down
good for ladies
at
because
comfortable
waist,
what our
that's
body
very important.
accepts.
The
That is the
waist
biggest
portion
mistake
gets
we do
any pain and
without
all
knowing.
goes off.
I'm not
Now,
blaming anybody, including me.
children grow
I learned
tall
this only
if
age
you do
of 40.
Tadasana regularly.
Now,
Uttara
friends, this is
Padasana,
very important. The left,
then I
if you
have
do, if you
then
can't do anything, do at
Pavana
least alternate nostril breathing
Mukhasana,
at
then
least for 20 minutes
Sarvangasana,
a day.
then
You will
Halasana,
find
then
wonderful results within you.
Purva
You will
Salavasana,
feel
then
charged up. You feel
Bhujangasana,
nice.
and
A feel good
Vikrasana.
factor.
So
Feel good
these
factor
are things
means
which you don't
your
have to do
supply
it
of
now. At
oxygen
later,
has
when I get
entered
an
your right
opportunity, I
brain
explain to
and
you
to all
about these
parts of the
yogas
body.
later.
Therefore,
about
But
you feel
what I wanted to
elevated.
tell you is,
Are you with me, sir?
so next, activating your brain is
Your
very
inner
important.
world,
Whole
friends,
body
whatever
of
I
your
talked today,
concept.
because
Now,
of limited
alternate
time, I could
breathing
not go
is
beyond.
activating
I could
both
have given
right
more
and left brain
examples,
cells.
but I'm very
Helps
grateful
in
to Muthu
controlling
sir
of
for giving this
mind.
opportunity.
Helps in building high
Conclusion, what I would
energy
say is,
and helps
health
in
is wealth.
longevity of life.
Try
After
to take
doing
care of
breathing,
yourself
you
right from now,
feel
so that
really
you can
nice. That
lead a
means
healthy life.
you have a
No
feel good
substitute for
factor
health.
in you.
Wealth cannot
Now,
replace health, but health can
Anulom,
replace wealth.
now some
Try to be
exercises
an
which
ideal
I cannot
person.
do it now. That will be a
Love
separate
all,
session.
serve
But I
all.
can tell you, breathing.
Definitely, you being in the
Basically, I
sky
have
group,
divided. There are so
these
many
things
kinds of
you
breathings.
people do
Every
because of
breathing,
the
friends, are
beautiful and
very
wonderful
good. I
teachings
will
of
not display any
Veeradhara
breathing.
Maharishi.
For
And with this,
example,
I would
even
like to
if you are on the
conclude my
bus,
program.
You take a deep breath. Any question and answer, you can always, I would place my sincere thanks to Mr. Kumaresan sir and Professor Muthu for giving this lovely opportunity to share. Even if you can't do anything, sitting in the bus also.